let's dive into that and how we can actually challenge the limiting belief. So what I love is there's a 4-step framework that we can use to and ask questions. This is developed from BYRON Katie, who she wrote a book called The Work, which is amazing. And you go to thework.com. She's a great resource. I highly recommend BYRON Katie's work. She does all about like inquiry and asking questions, but she created this 4-step framework to really challenge a limiting belief. So the number one is it true? Right. So give me a limiting belief.
I don't have any time for self-care. I'm too busy as a mother.
I'm too busy. I think we're all I'm too busy, right? There's not enough time. So, right. Is that really true? Is that really true? Do you have it, or do you scroll on social media?
Yes. Do you ever watch Netflix? Yes. Right.
Okay. So we all have time, right? We all have time. So you really just, so that first part is just like, is it true? It's like, no, it's not true. You have time. We can plug in, even if it's like a few
5
moments,
minutes,
5 minutes, right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be math. Okay. So then the second one, and this is a little bit deeper. It sounds the same, but it's like, can I absolutely, like, if your answer to that was like, no, I never do any of those things. I never have time to myself. I never have a moment to myself. My kid is constantly on me. They're just like challenging me. I can't even go to the bathroom to myself. Okay. So then the second part question is, can I absolutely know that this is not true? This is true, excuse me. So, has anybody ever proven that wrong? Like, has anybody ever actually proven that to be wrong? Because sometimes you ask yourself, is that true? And you're like, yeah, that's totally true. Like, I never have time. Like, I will defend myself. I'm never scrolling on
right.
You're watching. Like,
right. I work full time.
I have kids.
I'm a single mother. Right. Okay.
Yes.
So,
right.
yes.
Okay. So then can we know that that's absolutely true? And has anybody proven that wrong? Like, are there other single moms out there who find time for self-care, or other single moms that full time?
Yes.
Yes. So really getting deeper into that, right? So now you're kind of going to that second layer. First, the layer is like the resistance will come in, right? We all have that resistance. Like, we're so locked into our stories. Like, we will support our stories, like, to the end. We will fight for our identities. And that's what I talked about before, where your subconscious is going to fight to hang on to this. So it's not going to be this like, okay, oh no, that's not true. Oh, you're right. I should start meditating. It's like, I'm going to get locked into this because I absolutely believe that that's not true. I use the example often of like a debate, right? Have you ever watched a debate and the two sides, they equally have enough evidence supporting their claims where like you could be like, well, yeah, that is true because look at all the evidence they have. Our brains we will always search out evidence to support our beliefs, right? This is like, this is true, this is true, this is true because I hear that time and time again. Like, people come into my office, or when we were here, like, no, like, remember, like, some people were like, we will defend these belief systems, right? Because we are so like ingrained again and patterned, because it's really predicated on how we see ourselves in the world. So, and then the third question is, how do I react when I think that thought? Right? So dig in and like, how do I feel? Does this make me angry? Because like, I see other people having fun and doing amazing things, or having time to go take self-care, or doing things, or like, or does it make you frustrated? How does it really feel? And like, get into that feeling, right? Because when we pair and when we have an emotional response, so we have the thought, and then we pair it with the emotional response to it, the anger or the frustration, the way our brains actually wire. So there's a saying in like neurobiology that if you like neurons that fire together wire together. So it's automatically like you have this like emotion, and then you have the automatic response. So have you ever like you think the thought, and then emotionally you might not even have that experience, but you just go to frustration. Like if you said to somebody, you have time, and they're like, no, I don't have time because I have this and I have this and I have this, and they're like really like already in that emotion, instead of you're like, okay. Then you're like, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's it. And then the fourth question, who would I be without that thought? Would I be happier? Would I be more abundant? Would I be successful? Would I be more patient with my children? Would I be calm if I didn't have this thought, right? So those are the 4 questions. We'll go over them so you can write them down.
And we can send this out to everybody as well, so that you have something to refer to. We'll do that. Yeah,
absolutely. So the first question is it true? And the second question, can I absolutely know that it is true? Which is like, has anyone ever proven this wrong? And then the third question is, how do I react when I think that thought and think about it? Do you feel anger, frustration, sadness, envy, jealousy, whatever the emotion would be? And then the fourth one who would I be without that thought? Would I be happier? Would I be more successful? Would I be more calm? Would I be more peaceful? Would I be more loving? Right? So that's the work of the 4-question framework from BYRON Katie, who I think is amazing. So we can just, if you want to move in, we can just like talk about how to actually like take that new belief and then in pattern. We talked about before, that was the third step, which was like normalizing and creating that new belief and then actually like implanting it. And that's kind of what I like, right? Like your hardware, we talked about your brain being the computer. Like you want to actually like implant that in your subconscious mind. So therefore that becomes your new updated operating system that you see the world from. So let's dive into that. So let's see, we will take like a new belief, say again, like if you want to give me an example, and then we can kind of like a new belief that you want to, or if you want to just do the one that you use, the like I'm patient and loving. I'm patient and loving. I'm patient, loving
in the midst of
chaos.
That's
great, right? We can all do that. We can all want more of that. So yeah, definitely. Let's talk about that. So identity patterning is in order to create this new experience, this new belief system, we really have to embody the emotion that you are actually to integrate it into your awareness, into your system, into your being, into who you really are. So what you're going to do is actually, it feels a little strange, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay. So you're going to put your hand over your heart. So like again, and when you're doing these things, you're going to want to get really like get centered, get quiet, put your hand over your heart, and you're going to repeat the new belief system. So I am patient and loving in the midst of chaos. Is that what we, in the midst of chaos? Yeah. Okay. I am patient and loving in the midst of chaos. Okay. And then like really just like dropping down and really feeling like, what would that feel like to just be like, oh, like I'm just patient and loving in the midst of chaos. So we'll just like take that, take a few deep breaths. Really just drop it in there and all right. Open your eyes. So then using that, you want to ground it in and feel that emotion as powerfully as you can, right? So again, creating that visceral reaction that you've embodied that new belief system. And this is, again, not a one and done thing. This is going to be something that you're going to have to practice daily for, I would say, at least a couple weeks, and then test it out again. And then again, you can always go back to these tools, which is so great, and they apply to like literally anything across the board. So you can use them for so many things in your relationships. You can with all the things. So you can add different things too. I like to really embody it. Maybe using picking out photos that you see of somebody who's, who would be a patient, Mother Teresa or something. Yes, somebody who would be a patient, loving, kind, or something like photos that make, or if yours is I want to be more joyful and happy, or create the experience. I like to create little collages or vision boards or things like that, where you could actually have the vision of, we want to think in terms of the event actually happening, not in the future, right? Act as if it's happening now. This is your new belief system. This is who you are. This is who you identify with now. You identify yourself as a patient and loving, kind,
Right. It's not I will be a patient and loving mom in the midst of chaos. It's I am, right? Okay.
Absolutely right. So you have to speak to that as if it's happening. You have to create that experience I am, that you never want to speak in negatives. When you say I don't want to be this, or I don't, because your subconscious mind will just pick out the words around it and then keep reinforcing that. So you always want to say it, I am this, or I, right? And to speak in positives. So I would practice that, do that like maybe even twice in the day, in the morning and the evening. I think the two best times, and the reason is your brain is in a state of theta, which meaning you're more susceptible to new information right the first thing you wake up in the morning, and then right before you go to bed. So think about whatever you're thinking about right before you go to bed is what your subconscious is programmed for the next 8 hours, depending on how much sleep you get. That might not always be the case, right? So you're running, so like if you're watching television, if you're on, social media, if you're looking at the news, don't watch any of that stuff anyways, right? Like anything negative information or anything like you had an argument or you're upset or you're like, don't go to bed like that, because your brain is literally going to spend the next how many ever hours you're sleeping in that state, right? Repeating that and reinforcing that and embedding that in. So I actually listen to programs that are called subconscious reprogramming, which you can find them on YouTube. They have sleep tracks. You can in the search bar put subconscious programming sleep. You could do it for anxiety. They have all sorts of ways, but basically what ends up happening is in these tracks they sound like meditation music, spa music, really relaxing. I just put them on a low level volume, and embedded in those tracks are actually affirmations that your subconscious mind can pick up, because your subconscious mind is always taking in information. It doesn't sleep. Your conscious mind goes to sleep and your subconscious mind is active. So you can actually take in information while you're sleeping. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Our brains are fascinating.
They are fascinating. And we keep learning more and more about our brains, which I think is really quite amazing.
There's so much, there's so much new science and how we actually, the ability to, like the neuroplasticity of change the way that we think, the way that we behave. So it's pretty, everything is possible. The world is limitless. Everything you're creating your thoughts are literally creating your reality, right? Like whatever I see, like I'm creating my reality at all times. So if I don't like my reality, I need to like make sure that the reality that I want to create is what I start to, because if you embody that, if I say like, I'm a successful, confident speaker that is here to impact the world in a greater way, and I embody that, like over time, my brain will seek out, it'll be like, I'll get invited to kitchen chats, or I'll be on podcasts, or I'll be doing things, and then all of a sudden, I'll meet the right people because I'm embodying that belief system. I'm carrying that around with me, and the world is then mirroring back to me what I'm the signal that I'm putting out. I always like to use I heard this and it always stuck with me. So say it's like out there in the in the sky somewhere, there's radio station, right? Like radio, you listen to a radio station, right? Some of us, or serious music, whoever, like there out there is like a big satellite, right? And it's emitting a frequency. And so if I want to be on a certain station, then I have to like so say I'm listening to like, I don't know, 98.7, but I'm really on 98.5. So I can't get the frequency. It's the signal is there, like ready for me to like line up with it, but I'm not in sync with it. So it's like once I tune, so imagine it like tuning your tuner to the right frequency in order to receive what it is that you're really wanting, right? So you have to be in the frequency of what you desire, not of what you don't desire, right? We always know what we don't want, and that's really great because then we can know what we do want. But we spend a lot of time focused on what we don't want, and then guess what? You get more of that.
Wow, that's so true.
Right?
Very true. I
mean, watch it like in your life, right? Like you're like, the more you're anxious about like, maybe Ryan being upset, or how's he going to be when he comes home, right? Like you're in the frequency of that, like that will be more, you'll have more time spent in that. Whereas now you have this new belief system that you're going to pattern, which is like, I am patient and
living in the midst of chaos,
right? She's going to be like over there.
Thank you. That's gosh, I love this stuff. I'm always wanting to learn and grow, and I want to be my best self for sure.
You are your best self, right? And every day you're getting more and more in touch with like that highest version of you. Like you always are, like, we're always, we are that embodiment of that. We just have to like, it's all there inside of here. It's just like think about it as like the combination, and like sometimes we feel like, but it's like, it's really just unlocking like your full potential. Like the human beings, like we're so amazing, and it's crazy, but like every thought was a thing before it was something, right? Like literally every thought was a thing. Before there were smartphones or cars or television or, as my son will be like, he's like, we'll watch an old movie and he'll say, nothing was invented yet? Because I'll be like, they don't have TV. And it's like, nothing was invented. That wasn't invented yet. And it's like, but I always like, it makes me laugh because it's so true. Like things that we take for granted were just thoughts in somebody's mind before. So you have the limitless potential to like one thought that you could have could unlock like a scene for somebody else. And in order to like something that you have is going to activate something in something else. So we all have like individual keys that we are here to like unlock for other people. So never hide, like, you know, and never think that you don't have something to share, because we all have something. We all have a gift to share with the world, and something that is greater and bigger. And so don't think anything is too small, and don't think you're not good enough or all that. So like starting with these beliefs and creating this new wave of you know, potentiality that we all have, and for our children, right? Because that's I want to create a better world and life for my children, and I'm sure you feel the same. So obviously you do as well.
For sure.
So
yes.